What's up, nation? I'm out here today at San Bernardino. I think we're in San Bernardino for the Trail Dogs Jump Jam. So I just pulled up. I see some other people pulling up. Let's go see what's happening. All right. So the Trail Dogs jump line is actually very well built and it's very well thought out. But because there's so many jumps in such a small space, it can be a little daunting for your first time to kind of figure out what the different lines are. But one thing I really like about the Trail Dogs jump line is that they thought it through, and there is a line for anybody. If you're just starting to jump, or if you are a seasoned sender, there's a line for you. So that first run that I did was with a 2S, a downhill bike, which I've never ridden before, and it was a really long bike. It felt really different. Didn't really hit much of this stuff, but once I jumped on my Jeffsy, I kind of started to figure out that there's 3 main lines that you could take, with the more advanced line being on the left, the kind of middle line being in the center, and then the beginner line being off to the right. Now, you can get creative and actually cross from one of these lines to the other at certain parts of this jump line, which just makes it really cool and dynamic and adds a lot more variation to the runs that you could do.
At that point, it's just keep it in any medical go. Take care of that dog running,
This is what I call the easier option of the advanced line. So you come in here, you hit this little hip, and then you hit this big table, and then you come up to this, you skip the gap, but you table on the left there, hit this gap, and then another table, and then the final booter at the end. And so the reason I call that kind of the easier of the 2 options for that main line is because you skip, I think one of the biggest gaps in the line right after the tabletop, there is a table option just to the left, but if you hit the lip to the right, then there's a significant gap there that this little shredder from Three Brothers Extreme is about to hit. If you stay all the way to the right, there's a series of small little hips like this, bam, bam, that you could take, and they're all very small gaps, and they're easy to do. Of course, you're not a real mountain biker unless you've accidentally left your GoPro recording when you didn't know it was on. Found this lovely gem of a footage. Thought I'd just throw it in for your viewing pleasure. So here's an example of a run that you could do and kind of combine 2 different lines. I go into the advanced line by hitting that hip, hitting the table, going for that big gap in the center, and then here I transition over to the beginner line over to the right and finish off with the big booter at the end. So that's a really fun line because you get a taste of all 3. You start off on the advanced line, and then you move towards the center, and then you end up on the beginner line. But I wanted to do what dropping MTB does here. You see how he transitions over and moves, stays in the center, and does everything in the center after that big jump. That's what I wanted to work up towards. So after I saw him do it, I asked him to tow me in one more time and just followed his line, and it was super fun.
This is the transfer right here. Yeah. That was sick, dude.
I think I need to take out some tire pressure.
So while we were busy watching Lucky Customs throw some sick tuck no-handers, Aaron was hard at work shaping up another jump that's off to the left that is just a sender. It doesn't really have a landing of its own. It just has this natural grading of a landing, and you can just send it as far and as deep as you can, or as you want. So once this was done, we decided to give it a go. I was supposed to be right behind John on this one, but I saw a burrito in the bushes and I couldn't help myself. I eventually found my way to the lip, and this is about the time that things started to go south. In the time it took John and I to get back up to the beginning of the jump line to hit that jump again, somebody had stolen his backpack, which had his phone, his wallet, and his truck keys in it. So obviously he was freaking out, and everybody just went into search mode. We were searching the bottom of this wash, the streets nearby, the neighborhood. We were asking everybody. John got his dad to ping his phone, which led him to a manhole down in the wash that was really close to the jump line. Long story short, some homeless person had walked off with his backpack and gone down into the manhole and was planning on keeping it, I guess. But eventually, because the cops took too long to show up, some of the people that were there that day bravely crawled down into the manhole, found the guy, and he was able to retrieve his backpack and all of its contents, which I'm just so happy for. So it was a good day in the end, but that was quite a scare and such an unfortunate thing to have happen on such a rad day. But anyway, Trail Dog Jump Line, just such a fun place, such a rad day, and a lot of cool people that were out sending it that day. Now I'm going to hand it back over to Truck Elias to close us out. The Trail Dogs have done a great job out there, and I think 4 out of the 5 were there eventually. Aaron was there, Isaiah was there, so was Nate, and Edwin as well. It was a fun day, other than the stolen backpack. But anyway, we'll catch you on the next one. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye.